Now, I don't like having to depend on that top bag for a whole long day trip. This is the 2021 Royal Enfield Himalayan. Last Saturday, me and a couple of buddies took off for a pretty good long day trip, and this tank bag right here is all I had for a 15-hour day on the road. Now, I don't like having to depend on that top bag for a whole long day trip, and so today we're going to mount this Apache Harbor Freight 3800 box back here on the rack for a top box. Now, in order to mount this box on top of this little bitty rack, we need something to go up under the rack in order to sandwich it together. And the way we're going to do that is I got this scrap galvanized metal right here. I'm just going to put about a 1/4 inch between this bar and the scrap metal. Make a line there, and then to follow the curve of this rack, we're going to make a mark right through there, like so. And then on the other side, we'll do the exact same thing. We'll get us about a 1/4 inch inside of this. Make a mark there, straighten that back up, and then again follow the curve of this. And that's what we'll have. Now we'll take these with a grinder, or if you're doing this, whatever you can find to use to cut it with. We'll cut those out, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we got our galvanized pieces cut. This is about the way they're going to sit on that rear rack back there. But the next thing we need to do is to ease outside and actually remove the rack, and then we'll bring that thing inside where it'll be easier to work with. Now, in order to remove the rear rack, I got to undo my seat cover. Pop this back passenger seat. Then these two bolts right here will have to come off. They're a 13mm. I've already pre-loosened them. And then I believe these Allen head bolts right here are 6.5mm. And there's the rack. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is to place the back rack on the box the way that we decided we liked it when we were test fitting it on the back. Then we'll take the metal piece that we cut and we'll place it on there in the same spot we had before, about a 1/4 inch inside the rack. You're going to have to hold that real steady. Make sure it's exactly where you wanted it. And then you'll want to take a nail or a punch, in my case, and you'll stick that straight down, as straight as possible down there to the bottom of the box. And then you'll push that in and make yourself a divot right there. I've already done mine, so I'm not going to mess up my spot. I have not drilled it yet. So you'll do the same thing right here. And after you get bolts mounted later on here and here, you can come back where my finger is and do one here, and you ain't got to worry about it slipping out of place. So you do that side. Naturally, you come right back over here, do the same thing, get your 1/4 inch set inside. You see me moving it around, but in my case it's not all that important because mine's already marked. But when you're doing this like I did the first time, you've got to make absolutely sure that it doesn't move. Then you'll just come right here, make your mark into there, come over here and make your mark into here, and that part is done. Now I'm going to be using 1/4 inch bolts to bolt this together. So the very next step would be to drill out the holes that we're going to be using on here at 1/4 inch, and also the holes that we just drilled into the bottom side of the box. The bottom side, not the top. Don't screw it up. Next, we'll want to come to our top box and find the marks that we made earlier and make sure that they've got really good divots there for that drill bit to start in. You don't want it walking around on you and getting away from where it's supposed to be. And now we're going to drill them out. Next, we're going to reinstall the rack. All right, let's see how we did. Now, all we should have left to do is to tighten it down and make sure that it's exactly where we want it. Now these small bolts on here have a flat head on the bottom side, make it harder for somebody to steal it off of there. In order to hold that flat head where this tail light is on the Himalayan, you don't have enough room for a screwdriver, so you'll need one of these, this style screwdriver. If you don't have one of those and you just happen to have a paint can opener, that can get you by in a tight. And I'll use it now just to demonstrate. Okay, here's the final result. I think we did all right with it. It's a small top box, but the rear rack is ridiculously small, and I can get plenty of stuff in this little box right here for a day trip.